Hello again, Flosstube. Welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. That's spelled pages, the number 3, stitches, and that is my name here on YouTube and on Instagram. My name is Kelly, and I'm super happy that you're here with me today for my September 2022 update. First and foremost, let me just apologize for the lighting. I know I'm a little backlit right now, but this is kind of it's early in the morning and it's the only time of day I have to film this today. So we're just gonna roll with it. Again, welcome. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by my channel and taking an interest in what I have to share with you today. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and being my friend. I really appreciate it. You guys are super awesome. Anytime I get a comment from a viewer who's been watching me for a while, who's kind of giving me a pat on the back or just showing that they're keeping up with me, my heart grows a little bit each time, like the Grinch and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because it's really cool to connect with people in this community. So if you've come back again, say hi in the comments, because I wanna say hi to you too. I wanna tell you thank you for being here month after month and just hanging out. So today is Thursday, September 29th. It's 9:30 in the morning right now. And I have a couple of really cool things I want to share with you this month. Some exciting things that I think are exciting anyway. Hopefully you do too. And I also just want to share the love and give a couple of shout outs today too. But before we do anything, let's start off with the reading update. If you're new here, I give a reading update for what I've read the past month. The Pages and Stitches stands for the pages in a book, because that's my other passion. And then also, as you can see behind me, I'm also a quilter. So if you have any interest at all in quilting and want to hear about my quilting projects and quilting updates, I post a Quilter's Corner video every month in addition to a Flosstube video. So please go check that out if you're curious at all about that. Okay, reading update. So I was a pretty diligent reader this month. I managed to get through 6 books. I'm almost through with my 7th, so let me show you everything that I read this past month. So first I read The Ippos King by Grace Draven. This is number 3 in her Wraith King series. She's an independent author and I love her. Next, I read a Wallflower Christmas by Lisa Kleypas. She is my all-time favorite Regency romance author. Then I read Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. And then I read another Lisa Kleypas book. This is called Stranger in My Arms. And this is the newest cover for this book, and I hate it. I hate this cover so much, but I liked the book, so what are you gonna do? And then I followed that up with King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the first of this series. And then I read Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Doughty. So Doughty is actually a mortician, and she has a YouTube channel, and I've been following her for a while. She's just a really cool chick, and she kind of just answers a lot of morbid, weird questions about death and the like. This is her 3rd book that she's written. She's written a memoir, and she's also written a really cool book about traveling the world and learning different cultures and countries, death rituals. And I've read all of them. This is the 3rd book she's written, and I've read that too. So this book is actually her answering death-related questions that were all asked by children. So it's really funny too. And the title of the book is one of the questions that she answers. And lastly, I'm probably 2/3 of the way through with this book. I am reading, Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. And this is number 1 in her duology. have to stop and drink some tea. I have to apologize too if my voice gets a little crackly. The ragweed pollen in our area is like stupid high right now, and my allergies hate that. So I'm gonna be drinking my tea. If you hear me sniffling, I'm sorry. I do have to sniffle and clear my throat every once in a while because ragweed is the death of me. All right, so now I want to do a couple of shout outs. I want to shout out some people who I've been watching and that I love and who have given me some recognition as well that I think is really sweet. So first and foremost, I'm going to shout out Amy, my new friend, FiberartsAmy. If you are unfamiliar with FiberartsAmy and you're not watching her channel, you are missing out, my friend, because she is awesome. And I've been following her for a while, just kind of silently stalking her on YouTube and Instagram. And then she posted on her Instagram that she was watching one of my videos, and I had like an out-of-body experience because I was like, she knows I exist. Oh my God. And so I immediately messaged her and I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. And the reason why I love her is because she and I are very, very similar in a lot of ways. She has a very similar worldview to me. We also have similar interests in our projects and things. And she's also a quilter, and so she likes quilting too. And she's redhead. Granted, my red hair is fake and hers is real, but still. And also she is one of the people who has organized and created the Queen City Stitch Retreat that I'm sure everybody knows about by now, the Mirabilia Stitch Retreat that's going to be taking place in October of 2023. And the sign up for that is October 1st. That's 2 days from now. This video will probably go up tomorrow, so by the time you see it, it's going to be the next day. So go to the Queen City Stitch Retreat Facebook group, sign up for the newsletter. If you are at all interested in that, go there. Also, if you stitch with the hashtag Shadowlane Wednesday, that was started by Amy and Maggie, the next person I want to talk about. But anyways, Amy at FiberartsAmy, she's a doll, she's a dream. I love her. So go follow her and watch her channel if you haven't done that already. And then of course you can't talk about Amy without talking about Maggie of KitschyWips. And I actually found Maggie first, and she just had me rolling on the floor laughing with her videos because she's such a goofball and I love it. So many people who make Flosstube videos, you know, they're very like well-mannered and polite and put together, and Maggie's like, I'm just gonna be me, take it or leave it. And I love that. She's a doll. So she also is one of the sort of founding members, if you will, of the Queen City Stitch Retreat. She and Amy are organizing it together. They started the hashtag Shadowlane Wednesday together, and they both are just like prolific in their Mirabilia stitching. They've got, you know, the full collection practically of Mirabilia patterns, and they've done a bajillion finishes by her, or by Nora Corbett. And they also are big Teresa Winsler lovers, and they're just cool gals. Maggie is pretty stinking awesome too. I don't know if she knows I exist. I hope she does, because I've been stalking her too. So Maggie, if you're watching this, I like you too. I would love to be friends. Amy, tell her we should be friends. Okay, so that was Amy from FiberartsAmy and Maggie from KitschyWips. I will link both of their channels down below. Go follow them. And then lastly, I want to shout out a sweet woman named Karen. Her channel name is Weediflower Creations, excuse me. And she gave me a little shout out on one of her latest videos. And so I went and watched her, and she's got some really cute projects going too. She's doing this blue and white Delft sampler right now that I just kind of drooled over. If you've seen some of my past videos, you know that Delft is kind of like a nostalgic thing in my family. My mom collects it, or has like a collection of it, and then she has her own Delft sampler that's hanging in her house. Delft is a city in Holland that produces this beautiful blue and white pottery, and I was lucky enough to go there when I was a teenager, and so whenever I saw that Karen had that project, I was like, oh, what? That's lovely. So I'll be sure to respond to her shout out and just say that, you know, I really enjoy her projects, and I'm enjoying watching her. So you should go watch her channel too. Of course, I will link that down below. Also, anything I talk about, whether it's my books or a channel or any of my projects, I will link as much as humanly possible in the description down below. So if you have any questions or if you want to go shopping, go check out the description box. Okay, so let's get into projects. I'm kind of like on the fence about how to feel about my progress this month, because on one hand, I was able to do some pretty cool stuff, but then on the other hand, I did not meet all of the goals I set for myself last month. So, you know, that is what it is. There's always next month. But yeah, so let's just get into it. The first thing I want to share with you is my whip from Etsy. And I had mentioned this last month that I wanted to keep working on it, so I did. And that is this project right here. This is called Witchy Desk. And I will link this pattern and the Etsy shop down below. It's just this super cute little kind of witchy fall Halloween themed pattern with ghosts and candles and a black cat and potions and a cauldron, all that jazz. So I will insert a picture here of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here is where I'm at now. So I was, oh, you know what? Here. Just want to get something behind it. That really didn't do much. Who cares? Whatever. Okay, so here's where I am now. I finished most of this top quadrant here. I still need to fill in these little pots over here, and then on this side is a spider web, and then the spider comes down this way. So I was able to do this part of the border there. I added this little guy, this little ghosty. We got this pot, this and this. They were a pain in the butt to stitch, but they are probably my favorite part of this whole pattern because they just look so good. I love the way the plant hangs down, and I love the greens. I just think it's super cute. So then we got another one of those, and then I added 2 candles, and I actually lit them this time. So if you had been following my channel and seen my last update when I worked on this, you will remember that I made a big mistake here on this side of the pattern. What I did was, for those of you who don't remember or don't know, I stitched this border on the side all the way down before I came over and stitched up with these motifs. And that was my problem because I stitched it 5 stitches too short. So when I came over here and I worked on the skull candle, I went up here to light it, and it was supposed to be lit like this candle, but I realized it was gonna be like up here. And I realized my mistake. So rather than frogging it all, I just fudged it. I just went with it because I hate frogging and I will find any excuse not to do it. So I just worked with it. I just did a little bit of editing on this side of the pattern. Namely, I left this candle unlit. This little potion bottle had kind of like a couple of green bubbles above it. I just took those out and moved the ghost down, and then I made the cat shorter. And so my plan for this side is to finish this top part up here, finish this shelf with the spider, and then come back this way and work up, and then improvise like how I'm gonna fudge it on that side. So since since this side has like these bubbles here, probably what I'm gonna end up doing is just kind of taking a few of those out and maybe shortening this little ghost so that everything is a little bit more compact. But that's it. I mean, I actually reached out to the designer of this pattern on Instagram because I tagged her in it when I posted my update, and I was like, look, I messed up. I'm really sorry. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful. And she was like, don't worry about it. It looks great. Keep going. So that was kind of a big relief because I mean, genuinely, whenever I change a pattern or do a conversion, like, I always wonder like if the designer is irritated about that, and it makes me a little self-conscious. So it felt really good to get like validation from her that it was okay. So my plan for next month is to keep working on this. I'm so close to a finish and I want to get it finished. I want another finish. So I'm going to finish the shelf and then come up this way. And then ideally, assuming all goes well, next month I will be showing you a finish of Witchy Desk. But I really love it. I think it's stinking cute. I love anything that's got like a witchy or like a magical or whimsical theme to it. Of course, I love anything with a cat. Again, if you're new here, you will notice that I do a lot of projects with cats on them, and I buy a lot of projects and patterns with cats on them because I love them. In fact, you may hear my cat meowing in the background. He's demanding attention. Heifer, come here. Come here, kitty. Come here, kitty. Come here, you. Speak of the devil. Here he is. This is my kitty. This is Heifer. His name is Hef. I got him from a shelter in Corpus Christi when I lived there. He is 14 years old. He'll be 15 in April next year. So he's a little old man, and he demands his attention often. So if you hear random meowing in the background, it's because he's got stuff to say. Thank you for the kisses, sweet baby. Sweet baby, I love you so much. Okay, so, the next thing I want to show you is super exciting because I have a finish. I finished something, yay! So, if you've been keeping up with me, it'll be no surprise to you. I've been working on Christmas Cuddle Stocking by Kooler Design Studio. Look, a cat. I wasn't lying. So I wanted to do a Christmas stocking for myself specifically from Kooler Design Studio because my mom has stitched the heirloom collection stockings for every member of my family. And when those come out at Christmas time, I will be sure to show you. So now that I'm, you know, off of my own, I have, I just kind of had the desire to stitch one that's just for me, for myself. I don't even have a fireplace. I live in an apartment, so it's gonna hang, I don't know, on the wall. But I wanted to do it and I did it and now it's done. So let me show you. Before you see it, here's where it was last time. I still had a pretty good chunk left to go. I had to do the rest of the heel and then all the way down to the toe, which I felt like was ambitious, but I wanted to get it done. So here it is. Look at that. Fabulous, love it. It's pretty, I'm pretty proud of it. It's pretty cute. So I finished the rest of the heel, the kitty's booty and his tail. And then I needed to come over here and finish the feet and the bottom and the rest of the hand here. And then it was just chair after that. So that was, I mean, that's a pretty good chunk. I mean, that's almost like a third of the pattern, and I did it. I'm so excited. And I even stitched my name there at the top. It's kind of hard to see. I did it in like a back stitched kind of blocky calligraphy style. I don't know how you would describe the font, but whatever, that's what it is. And then I also, I don't know if you can see it right there, 2022. So I had put that in a while ago, which is why I was so determined to finish this quickly, because obviously, like, there's a date on it. I needed to finish it this year, and I wanted to finish it before Christmas so I could hang it up. So it's all done. And I have the supplies for fully finishing it. So if you have not seen those, I'll show you those real quick. So this is the fabric I'm gonna use for the back of my stocking, which is this really goofy, fun Christmas cat print. And it goes perfectly with the greens in the pattern of my stocking. And then this print, which is a gold metallic, kind of corally red that matches really well, is going in the inside. And then I also have this like piping bias tape that I'm gonna put around the edge. So next time, my goal for next month is to fully finish this so that next time you see it, it is in stocking form. There's just a little bit of back stitching. So there's some on his little paw, or his foot here, excuse me, on the bell, and then on their faces, and that's it. And then there's a couple of French knots, which were kind of pointless because you can't really even tell, but they're there. And then of course, you know, however you choose to insert your name. So yeah, I'm really proud of this. I'm so glad I was able to finish it. That's part of the reason why I wasn't able to do more work that I wanted and accomplish more goals that I wanted to get done this month, because I was really determined to finish this. It kind of took up a chunk of my time. So, but it's done. Also, really quick, I wanted to address something. So I have a friend who pointed out that, so she's like a newer cross stitcher, and she pointed out that she didn't really know what people meant when they were saying things like 2/1 or 3/2 or yada yada yada. And I feel bad that I just kind of assumed that all of my viewers would know what that means. So I just want to do a quick explanation for anyone who might be new here, or new to cross stitching, I mean. So the first number refers to the number of threads you're stitching with, 1, 2, 3, sometimes all the way up to 6, depending on the project you're working on. And then the second number refers to the number of fabric threads you're using to make your cross. So usually on Ada, which is a bigger count, you'll do one line of 1 fabric thread. So when I say I stitched it 2/1, I'm saying I used 2 floss threads to make my X over 1 fabric thread. So if you hear like I'm doing 1/2, it's 1 floss thread over 2 fabric threads. Now the count of the fabric is referring to the amount of fabric threads within 1 inch. So a 14 count Ada, like this one here, has 14 floss threads within 1 inch. If you get something like a 32 count, like on a linen, then you have 32 fabric threads over 1 inch. So there's a lot more fabric threads there. Usually with higher count numbers like that, people will stitch over 2. So if I'm stitching on a 32 count linen over 2 threads, the effectively you can divide that number in half, which would be 16. So the size of your X is going to be the same theoretically to like if you were stitching on a 16 count Ada. I hope that makes sense. Some people do really intricate work and do really, or the pattern might call for an over 1 section of stitching, which means they are making their full cross or even just a half cross over those teeny tiny little fabric threads. And the effect is different on the finished project. Sometimes it looks a little bit smoother or a little bit more uniform. So it all just kind of depends on your preference and what you're going for. But I hope that little quick explanation was helpful. And I do apologize to anybody who was confused about that in the past, and because I just kind of assumed everybody knew what that meant. But that was not fair. I didn't always know what that meant, so it wasn't fair for me to assume that everybody else knew what that meant. But hopefully now you do. So September was kind of a wild month for the world. The Queen of England died. So my sympathies to anybody who is mourning her loss. Also, the world kind of lost its mind when the Little Mermaid trailer was released, the live action mermaid, or the live action movie, because the actress is black, and that subject matter is kind of apt for what I have to show you today. For the record, I think she looks fabulous. Halle Bailey is beautiful. The Little Mermaid is my favorite movie. I believe it came out the year I was born, or like roughly around that time. I was born in '89. And so I've been watching that movie my whole life. She's the original reason I wanted to dye my hair red, because I wanted to be Ariel. And when I turned 13, that's when I started dyeing my hair red. I am now 33 years old. So for 2 decades, I've been dyeing my hair red because of The Little Mermaid. So needless to say, that movie means a lot to me. But I couldn't kind of comprehend why people were freaking out because she was black. She's stunning. She looks beautiful. So I bring that up to talk about this. So because I finished my Christmas Cuddles stocking, I started a new project. And if you have seen my last couple of videos, you will know that I have kitted up this project here, which is Luna Mystica by Bella Filipina. And I kitted it up with a conversion, both a skin and a hair conversion. My mermaid will be a black mermaid. And I kitted her up before I even knew that Disney was releasing a live action Little Mermaid with a... I had known that that she was going to be cast in that role like a while ago, because they talked about it a while ago. I just didn't know that the movie was filmed and it was about to come out. And I had already had this kitted up as a black mermaid with a black skin and hair conversion. So it just kind of like the stars aligned. I finished my project at the right time. The trailer came out and it was time to start my black mermaid. And so the reason why I did this conversion is because the market of fancy ladies is pretty well saturated with white women or white passing women, white looking women. Unfortunately, that means our brothers and sisters of color within our community often can't identify with our fancy ladies, and that's just not fair. So I think that it should be on all of us to ensure that there's equal representation in everything we do, but especially, you know, in our hobbies and the things that we love. The last time I said this on my Flosstube, I lost a ton of followers, which is fine. I'm okay with that. If you disagree with how I think, you are entitled to do that. But I hope that it does strike a chord with some of you, that maybe that's something we should be doing. In truth, I hadn't, you know, to my own shame, I hadn't been paying attention to stuff like that until I started following a few black Flosstubers, and they brought it to my attention. And they're right. Like, you know, we just don't see enough people of color presented in our projects. So I'm making one. So all that to say, I have started Luna Mystica by Bella Filipina, and let me show you where I'm at. So she's still on the Q-snap, and I've got her all wrapped up with clips and stuff, so I'm not going to take her out of the Q-snap. But here is my progress so far. And this fabric, I know you guys can see through the fabric. I don't have anything to put behind it. So I apologize for that. But the fabric is a 32 count linen in the color Mediterranean Sea. And as you can see, I got a pretty good start on her. So this is kind of like her bottom, if you can imagine. And then her tail goes around here and bends this way, and she's sitting on that floral moon kind of right here. I have already put in kind of her torso. This is her back here and like the side of her belly. And then this stitching here is her arm that's resting on her tail. And it curves. This is her hand. It just kind of curves here and then it'll come back up. And then this little bit right here is like it's kind of like a floral wrap that goes around her chest. So, I mean, she's basically topless, but she's got like this little floral bit that kind of wraps around her. And yeah, so she's coming along. I was so excited to get this started. I'm really happy with it so far. Got my little llama needle minder. A llama is my favorite animal, by the way. This one and this needle minder came from my best friend as a birthday gift. But yeah, I don't know if you can see. Let me try and see if I can get it closer. I do have some of the, no, it's not really showing up. I do have some of the petite, the Rainbow Gallery like treasure braid in here already. It's just not really showing up sparkly. But I also wanted to talk about something else. So her skin is not the only thing I converted. Pattern calls for 3 different Karen water lilies, and those are silk variegated flosses, and they're beautiful and they're expensive because they are silk. So a skein of DMC floss is roughly like 60 cents unless you get it on sale. A skein of Karen water lilies is $7, and that is a significant price difference. So so the first conversion I did, there was one particular color that only shows up in this little floral wrap here and in the floral wreath around her head. And it's like 20 stitches total, maybe 30. And I just didn't feel like spending $7 on a skein of floss for that amount of stitches. So I converted it to a DMC variegated, the price of which is $1.16. That's more doable to me. The amount of enjoyment that I get from stitching with a silk floss versus a cotton floss like DMC is not proportional to the price difference. Therefore, I feel okay and justified in converting those beautiful silk Karen water lilies to other flosses. If you're a stitcher on a budget like me, feel free to do the same. So I converted, I will insert like a chart of the conversions that I'm doing for those Karen water lilies here. The other thing is, so originally I had ordered what I thought was the Karen water lilies for the other 2 variegated flosses that is called for in the pattern, but I made a mistake and I accidentally ordered the Karen watercolors, which is the same colorway, but it's a thick cotton floss. Let me show you. It's not a silk floss, it's a cotton floss. So these 2 are the watercolors. This is the DMC variegated converted floss. But these 2 are the Karen watercolors. See, I mean, you can see the difference. They're thick. But they are a 6-stranded floss, so I was like, okay, I'll just pull 1 strand and use that since it's, you know, thicker. I just need 1 strand. And so I tried doing that with this color here, and it failed miserably. It pulled apart like cotton candy, and there was no way, like I pulled it off and it was immediately fuzzy, and then I stitched maybe 1 X and then it just like pulled apart. So I was like, okay, that failed. I think its intended purpose is to use it like almost like yarn, where it all stays together and can be stronger that way. So I will save these flosses for another purpose and instead convert them. I have the other 2 replacement skeins already ordered. They're going to be here soon, but I don't have them yet. I'm replacing them with DMC variegated, because like I said, $1.16 is a reasonable price. $7.09 is, I have trouble justifying it. And then I know that there are people out there who are like, you're nuts, silk is wonderful, it should all be done in silk, in my opinion. And you know, that's fine, but I just can't. I'm a one-income household. I can't swing $7 skeins of floss when there's tons of them. I mean, I get it, 3 isn't tons, but whatever, don't judge me. So anyways, the that like blue kind of periwinkle color, no, not periwinkle, that blue kind of like seafoam color is in the moon here. And then the other one that's more like a cotton candy, I actually think the color of it is, the color name of it is cotton candy, I think. Those are in the, shows up in the flowers. And I think a little bit in her tail too. So when those two converted DMC skeins come in, I'll show you those. And then hopefully I will have some of them stitched into the project the next time you see it, so you can kind of see how it's presented. I know the conversions aren't exact, like the dye lots aren't exact, but they are close. And DMC has a really good DMC has a pretty good selection of variegated flosses. So there she is. There's my Luna Mystica. Perhaps I shall name her Ariel in honor of Halle Bailey. I love her already. So the last thing I want to show you before we sign off here is I just have this tiniest little bit of haul to share with you, and then we'll say goodbye. Okay, so in an older video when I was showing the finishes that I have in my house, I showed this picture here of a Paula Vaughn that my mother had completed a number of years ago. And since seeing that, I had kind of decided that I want to stitch my own Paula Vaughn to kind of go with it. A lot of the subject matter of her patterns are quilt related. They're not all quilt related. A lot of them are floral. A lot of them are like dresses, but she's got a whole collection of quilt related projects. And this particular one you can see is a quilt that has hexagon, English paper pieced hexagons on the quilt, which is a style of quilting where, you know, the fabric is wrapped around a piece of paper and to get the shape, and then you stitch those all together and take the paper out. Traditionally it's done with hexagon shapes. So I decided I wanted to find something that was kind of similar to that. And she legit, as far as I can find, only has one other pattern with the hexy shape quilt on it. And I was able to find a copy of an original leaflet from an Etsy seller in Canada. And I bought it from her on Etsy and she shipped it to me. And this is that pattern here. It's called Spring Remembered Part 2. And you can see it's got that same hexy pattern draped over a rocking chair, kind of in a garden scene, which is really sweet. And she's got her little basket here with the little bonnet on the white picket fence. It's very picturesque and very cute. So this is the Paula Vaughn that I'm going to stitch as a companion piece to the one that my mom did. Like I said, this one is Spring Remembered Part 2. Here, this is the back of the leaflet. This is Spring Remembered Part 1. See if I can get it good. It's kind of a smaller, more blurry picture, but it's another like quilt over a picket fence garden scene. And she's got tons of these things. They're so pretty, very like idyllic. And so that's why I was like, I gotta stitch a Paula Vaughn. The last little bit of haul that I want to show you is going to be my next new start. So I've shown this pattern before that I got on Etsy. This is called Mushroom Sampler from the Etsy shop, CutePatternsByMaria, I believe it's called. Yes, CutePatternsByMaria. And of course I will have this pattern in her shop linked down below. Just this beautiful little mushroom sampler. It's kind of got a dark, it's presented on like a dark brown background. It's got like a warm color palette that I really love. I mean, I even love the mat and the frame that they put in the sample. So this I have officially kitted up, and it's going to be my next new start after I finish my Witchy Desk on Etsy. But let me just show you the supplies for the kit. The fabric that I bought for this is, it's a Aida of 16 count Aida called Brandywine that I've got from everythingcrossstitch.com, which is my favorite online cross stitch store. And it's not really showing very well, but so it's a brown, obviously, but it's got like a red pink undertone compared to like a standard brown Aida color. And I kind of liked that because the color palette in the project is warmer, so I just kind of went with like a little bit warmer brown. So that's that there. And then of course I got all the flosses, just the called for flosses, all DMC, no specialty threads. And I just kind of die for this color palette. It's so fall, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm so excited to start this project next, and why I chose it is because like it has a very fall like feel to it, and I am so over summer right now. If you don't know, I live in Texas and summer lasts like 6 months and it's oppressively hot. So fall is my favorite season. I love the vibe, I love the colors, I love everything. Unfortunately, fall in my state lasts for about 2 weeks, and then we go straight into winter. So this is going to be how I enjoy fall this year. All right, guys, that's it. That's everything. Plans for next month. I'm gonna finish my Witchy Desk. I'm going to fully finish my stocking. I'm going to start my mushroom sampler, and then I'm gonna bust out the projects that I said I was gonna work on last month and then didn't. So that's gonna be my Mirabilia, which is Ophelia, and my blue fancy lady that I got from Etsy, because those ladies need some love. And then I'm probably, I mean, this might be ambitious, but if I still have time, I'm gonna keep working on Luna Mystica, because I love her so much. I'm so happy that I started her, and I'm excited to get more of her done. All right, I mean, that's a lot. See if I can do it. So if you have any questions at all about or anything you want to say, or you just want to say hi, leave me a comment down below. I've also left my Instagram handle and my email address, so you can always reach out to me privately through either of those methods. Of course, follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of my updates there. I post not just my cross-stitching update, but my quilting update, as well as my reading update, and any kind of random life in between. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna go to work now. I'm gonna change my shirt and then go to work. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for visiting. I really appreciate every single one of you. I hope to see you again next month. And in the meantime, I hope you get tons of good stitching and relaxing and all that jazz and everything in between. So I will see you in another 30 days or so. All right, have a good one, guys. Bye.